girl.
Hey. How are you?
Girl, I am here, honey. How are you?
I'm here too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Things are good. Smiling.
And of course, thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of In the Divas Den. You guys are in for a treat this go round because later on in the show, our mothers are going to be joining us. And if only you could have seen the behind the scenes.
That was gold.
But we got something a little special later on. We'll actually be, doing a little Q&A and getting just, their aspect of motherhood and, just raising children then and now and all the things like that. But of course, we have to do our check-ins. That's the main thing. I want to check in, see how everyone's doing, see how you guys are doing. Precious, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Last week was a bit rough, but this week is a lot better. So I feel like I'm back in my routine, getting up, the whole getting ready, putting something on, sitting in front of the computer, making a schedule. It's helped
Yes.
a lot. Yes. How are you?
Girl, I am good. I am got a little fuzzy there. I'm good. I can't complain. Things are going to start changing for me starting next week. Because now our offices are going to open. I would be lying if I didn't say that I was definitely a little, afraid of what is going to happen, especially with things that are going on in the news, the things that I'm hearing, so many people that are affected by COVID. Right. But we are going to have a team meeting this Friday to talk about it. But just know, I just don't have a really good feeling about any of this, to be completely honest.
Pray over. You're going to have the covering over you, along with your mask and stuff, and you won't be all right. Because you
Yes, girl. Yes, girl.
Wash your hands, you practice hygiene, so you should be fine. Yeah.
Hey, Miss Lisa, how you doing, girl? But yes, once again, want to check in with you guys. Tell us how you're doing, how you're holding up. If you're essential, non-essential, let us know where your mental is. And it's not just at this moment during the show. Just let us know throughout the show how you guys are doing. And then don't be afraid to chime in because, we are going to get into it, just like we're going to get into it right now.
Yes, the world is trending right now. A lot of trending topics, but the main one is the shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery in Georgia. He was killed on February 23rd by Gregory and Travis McMichael, who are father-son duo. Gregory is actually a former police officer, which explains why, since he was killed back in February, we're just now finding out about this as a nation. There's a video that has gone viral of someone who actually captured the murder happening. I say watch at your own risk. It's very boring. And you would think that this was a piece of evidence that was in, which I did read up, and they did say that it was evidence. But how could you then do that, but then not prosecute? It's cold-blooded killing on this tape. Regardless of what was said, what was done, this man did not have a gun. These two men accosted him and had two shotguns. And he's running. And you see the blood on his shirt. It splatters and he falls over. And it's like, what does it have to take for people to say that this is wrong? Not he shouldn't have resisted, or he should have answered, or he should have showed him his ID. No, these are regular citizens. They have no authority. And if they claim that they called the police because they were worried, then why wouldn't you wait for them to get there to do what they had to do?
Exactly. And from what I was being told was that allegedly his father was a police officer, and all those things like that. So in his mind, he's probably thinking, I'm doing the right thing. I have the rights to do this because of the privilege that follows when you are either a ex police officer or you know of someone who is a police officer, so they don't think of themselves as just being civilians. But what you don't get to do is murder someone in cold blood and think that there aren't going to be consequences to it. Now, of course, we know the judicial system always lets us down. Always. It never fails. They always let us down. So I don't believe that they will serve any time. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. If they do, I will be surprised. But just the simple fact of having to live with yourself, knowing that this man was minding his business. He was jogging while black, a 25-year-old boy who had nothing to do with what was going on, but because in your little simple mind, you thought he fit this description, which is just being a Black man, you decide to take matters into your own hand. And like you said, you don't apprehend him, not that it's your job to begin with, or, question him or anything like that. You just shoot first. And then now it's just like, oh, well, I hope this doesn't get out. Well, now it has. Now marches have started. And now protests have started. People are angry. People want answers. And my biggest thing is I just hope that his family does not let this go or doesn't become content with a payoff,
Yeah, I could see. Because it's weird. I mean, it's a long road. It's been a long time already on top of the whole pandemic that's happening right now in the world. And I mean, this happened right before it got crazy. So it was probably picking up steam. They were probably, you got the people advocating for justice and whatnot. And then everything shuts down. And it's like, what do we do now? Now this video has come out, which I don't even know who shot this video, where it came from, but now all of a sudden it's viral. Everybody's watching it. Everybody's commenting on it. Joe Biden has, let me catch myself before I say what I want to say. Joe Biden has now said that he will do what he can to make sure that justice is brought forth. But it's also an election year, so I'm gonna leave that.
Exactly. We that's a whole nother topic we can get into, girl. But we ain't gonna touch that right now because we will get into it. We will get into it. But the one thing that I want to get into is the stepping down of one of the vice presidents in a unit of Amazon. If you guys have not heard about this story, essentially what happened is that he is in charge of, I think, the cloud computing division. And there were whispers that people were being fired because they were afraid of COVID. And a lot of the people were protesting because of the work conditions. Like they didn't feel as though they were safe. They didn't feel as though Amazon was taking it seriously because we know due to quarantine and, due to COVID, there has been a surge of orders. So, of course, they're like, we got to get these orders out. We got to get them out. We got to get them out. But no one is really paying attention to the fact that these people are risking their lives coming in every single day, and dealing with the different items and all of that. And protests have started because they said as though, they don't feel like the working conditions are fair. Well, let's fast forward a little bit. All of a sudden, a lot of these employees are being fired mysteriously. And no one is saying why they're being fired. Well, the vice president caught wind of it. And for lack of better words, he was pissed off because he's like, how do we fire these people for being afraid, and you're not protecting them in any sort of way? And I think that is a question that can be asked for a lot of these companies out here. Everyone's in a rush to, for a whole supply and demand or to get people back to work. But are you making sure that all of your employees feel as though they're safe, because we do know when it comes down to it, it isn't about making sure it's safe. It's just making sure that you're making money. You want the economy to get back to where it was before, so we can sit here and say, oh, we're doing this or we're doing everything possible. But the reality is we don't know exactly how COVID is being transmitted, so we can wear masks, we can wear, hazmat suits and stuff like that. But there are still people who are out here getting it. Period.
Yeah, and the crazy part is now Dr. Fauci expressed concern because there are people who have been staying home the whole time that are now showing up in the hospitals. So it's like, okay, what's happening now?
Girl, that part. So I mean, my whole thing is just it's really heartless, and it really is starting to show more and more that a lot of these companies don't really care. They try to act like they do, but they don't. And Amazon, y'all tried it. Y'all tried it with these commercials talking about we're making sure that we're taking all the measures possible. And look, people are getting fired. But to move on, because girl, we definitely talk about this. These hornets, ma'am.
I need people to stop sharing this meme because I swear every time somebody share that damn meme, another jar of Jumanji juice opens up, and it's a problem.
Girl. Listen.
Look at that. The size of that. That's fake. That look like one of them animatronic things from Disney World. It look fake. Stop it.
And just for the simple fact that they said they can grow up to 2 inches, and the fact that they attack honeybees and they use their hives and completely take over. and they're aggressive. I can see their facial features. I probably can tell what they're thinking. There's no reason why we should be dealing with something this big. No reason.
Somebody said the government said stay in the house. Y'all want to come outside? Release the hornets. Like, no, that's not how we solve that. No. Get back.
And I'm just like, what more? 2020, okay, look, like COVID pretty much topped it off. What you're not going to do is sit here and release these wild hornets and be like, oh, there you go. Hey, girl.
No.
We not done yet.
Australia got all them big bugs. They can keep them down there. Don't let them off nowhere else in the world. I don't need it. Keep it to yourself.
Period. Period. Yeah. But of course, as you guys know, we are pressed for time, so we have to keep it moving and introduce the lovely ladies who created these divas. Hey now. Precious, do you want to introduce your mom?
Yes. Everyone, I introduce to you the one, the only Darlette Mason. Coming in.
Hello.
There she is. Hi, Mama.
And of course, y'all know my mom, but if you don't know her, I am going to introduce the one and only Deborah. Hey, girl.
Hey.
So in Divas Den fashion, we wanted you guys to come onto the show because it is Mother's Day this weekend. And what better way to essentially celebrate Mother's Day than to have you guys on the show and, you know, of course, let you guys know how much we love you and appreciate everything that you guys do for us. You guys are our biggest supporters when it comes to the show, constantly sharing and commenting. Mother. But we appreciate you. But we also want to put you guys on the hot seat and ask you a few questions. So, Precious, do you want to kick it off? Or you want me to kick it off?
I want you to go ahead and kick it off and get. Oh, Andrea's watching. Hey, girl. You too.
Andrea. So we'll start with something light. And of course, this question is for both of you guys. It's not just like, you know, I'm only talking to my mom. But when it comes to motherhood, what would you say is absolutely the best part of it?
Okay. For me or
for both of you guys?
Okay. All right. The best part of it. I think the best part of it for me is the reward of seeing your product that you raised. I think that you know, when you take the time and when you're in it, when you're really in it, like you're doing the whole bunch of raising part of it, you don't think that. You just think to yourself, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? But once you actually see the finished product, when your kids are gone and off in the world or off to school, whatever, and you see them doing well and they're in society and they're giving back and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, then I think that's a huge reward. Huge reward.
Another reward is when you always have that saying as a parent that you're not listening to me or you don't hear what I'm saying, and then you find out later on they actually
did,
what you said and saw what you did, and you know, say, wow, I remember Mom when you did this and that. So that's rewarding as well.
What you say, girl? Girl, remember what I told you. You be shady and one ma'am. We are not doing that today.
So,
okay.
What's your favorite memory of us growing up?
Oh goodness.
I got one.
Okay, go ahead, Debbie.
Okay. When Kimberly sings, a lot of people do not know that Kimberly is
she is epic. Okay.
Kimberly can sing opera.
Oh my!
We had a really proud moment when she could sing for. She went to Catholic school, and she was singing at mass. And one day, I just happened to be getting out of the car to go into the mass, and they had her singing, and her voice just radiated outside of the church. Outside, and that was such a moment. I like literally cried when I heard her sing. So you guys need to ask her to sing for you. She has been trained to sing. She can sing opera.
Yeah, she will sing us out of the car on every trip that we have.
Oh,
yes.
Just put on Dream Girls.
Okay.
Girl.
One of my memorable moments was when Presh was in a show on stage,
Aw.
and my sisters and myself were sitting there, and she came out to say her part, and the voice that came out, we said, "Who's that? Who is that? That's Precious." You know, everyone was shocked, and she blew it away, just so professional, and just didn't know where that voice came from.
Oh.
Mhm.
I
And
remember
now
this
she's behind the
moment.
mic and she's producing, and so that's a proud moment, a very proud moment.
Oh.
Kim, what they doing to us? What they doing?
I know, girl. But I got my bye girl sign in case we need it. So if you need me to bye girl somebody, let me know.
No.
Let me know.
No, but that's true. Our love of theater and music is the reason why Kim and I gravitated towards each other. So
Right. That's
Mhm.
cool.
Mhm. You know. But Precious didn't hurt me sing. So, you know, whatever.
yeah, she can love.
Nobody
Yeah.
else heard you sing.
Rush sings too.
What? You sing
Not
too?
like Kim though. Not like Kim. What you?
We've been harmonizing in the car, girl. Dream girls.
Dream
Dream
girls.
cats.
I got to work with you together. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you think mothers today face more challenges during this time, or do you think it was more challenging for you guys when you had us?
I think it's more challenging now.
I do too.
And just so you know, our mothers thought it was more challenging for us.
Right.
So as it goes, it's just to that level, because when you think back when we were growing up, you know, bread might have been 20 cents and now it could be $5. You know, the gas was 15 cents and you see what it is today, over $2 or maybe $1.99. And, you know, we're going from the antiquated way to the techie tech way. You know, the babies now, one or two can scroll on the phone and, you know, do different things, where you're adjusting at such a quicker pace now than then. So it's more challenging. And then, you know, it's scary when you're saying, you know, your daughters are going to date someone. I'm like, oh my goodness, don't bring anyone in here with their pants are not up, because they're not coming in my house sitting on my furniture. Okay.
You're not sitting on it. No.
No, there's a lot.
Talk about me, y'all. I'm looking at you, Nicole.
And it is. It's not so much more challenging. And then with the internet itself, you know, trying to monitor the internet, trying to monitor what the kids are doing, that's a lot. And then not knowing, when you guys grew up, it was more or less like a community thing, where like my kids were raised more around the community. It was like when they say
the village.
Community raised a village, yeah, and they were. Like if I went out of town, I could leave them with, you know, a parent that I knew their friends' mom and dad. Like everybody knew everybody's mom and dad and everything. So we could leave the kids there, you know, with each other when we had to do things. And it's so much texting going on now and so much less communicating. And you don't, these parents today don't even get a chance to even know their kids' friends' parents. You know what I mean? So they don't get a chance to know that. So you don't know what you're releasing your kid into, whose house, and who might be a pervert, who might be a molester, who might be, you know, it's just so much going on now that it's harder to protect your kid today than it was with us.
And back then you knew your children's friends. Like I knew Precious' friend. My house was the go-to house.
Exactly.
And they would come and hang out at my house. So I knew all of them. You know, and knew their parents as well. But now, because everyone's on social media, you don't know all of your children's friends now and who's doing what.
It's tough.
That played a big role.
I would want to be raising a little one today.
You said what?
I would not be one to raise a little one today.
Ooh, girl.
That brings us to our next question. What advice would you give to young mothers of today?
Stay woke. I mean, when
don't do that.
When I say stay woke, I mean, you have got to be on top of everything. You know what I mean? And that's why I say it's so tough. They have to be on top of every little thing that their kids do. And it's almost like if your daughter's up on the computer, like my nerves would be shot. I have to see like who you talking to. You know, what's going on? You know what I mean? Keep the door open. I need to see. You know what I mean? And it's just so much behind the closed doors that I would just tell them to stay on top of them, keep them busy. My biggest thing was keeping them busy, get them involved in sports, something, find their niche. You have to find a niche, but get them involved in something so they don't have all that idle time. Idle time on those computers. Idle time, get them, just doing things they shouldn't be doing. That's my advice.
When they were growing up, remember, they had it always saying, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Exactly. Yeah.
They need to continue that, because you have a lot of people out there, they don't know where their children are. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know who they're talking to.
Right.
And so I just, stay focused, stay connected to your children, get to know them. This whole thing with the COVID-19 is causing families to get closer than they've ever been. Get back to family life. Everybody jump in the boat, go fishing. Everyone go in the car, take a ride. Stay connected.
Yep.
So out of this, some good will come for some of those families who never experienced it and took something like this to hit the reset button for some families and communities and different areas. People coming out on the balcony and they're singing and, waving. And so there's some good in the midst of all this.
And then on the other side, they get a chance to spend time with them bad kids they're raising.
Ooh. Well, parents are supposed to raise the kids, not the teachers. So the teachers are getting a break.
Say it again. Say it again.
Your children before you send them to school, so they know how to perform in the classroom.
Right. So now you see it. Handle it.
And I think that's one thing that, there was a lot that I learned from you growing up, Mom, but you always taught us how to act. And I think that seems to be like a lost art, when it comes to raising children, because people just let their kids just run free or just do whatever. And it's just like, you always told us there was a time and a place for everything, and it's just like, you don't get to act crazy all the time, and like when we were inside or we into movies, we knew like, okay, this is quiet time, or, when we were outside playing, okay, this is playtime. And I see so much of that where it's just like, I see so many women just letting their kids just do whatever, roam free, and there's no real discipline, there's no real raising going on. And I mean, like, why do you think that is? Or why do either one of you think that is?
I think that a lot of parents today.
Shut up, Big.
But I really think a lot of them today want to be their child's friend.
Mm-hmm.
And because you want to be your child's friend, you want them to like you. You want them not to be mad at you. Hey, you know what? Because I ain't your friend, right? I ain't your friend. I'm your mother. And you appreciate it later on. Don't you appreciate it? I do. And I might have been a little tough, and I do admit that I might have been a little tough, but I think today if they would stop trying to be your kid's friend and be your kid's parent and raise them. They might get mad at you if you take something away from them. They may get mad if you punish them, but you have to do that because they'll think that it's just a free for all. And I can get away with anything I want to get away with anywhere I want to get. And that's our job as a parent. They really have to get that role as a parent and not a friend.
Right. And you have to teach your children how to act when you go out,
right,
whether it be to a restaurant or someone else's home or out in the park. You should be able to teach your children how to act in public.
Right.
Rather than have them embarrass you and then you ignore what they're doing, but it's irritating the people around you. And if someone should say something, then you take offense at the person who's really telling you you ought to be the parent and control that child. There's no need for a child to act out the way some children act out in public. Whether it's a restaurant, they're throwing food, and by the time they leave, you look at the area they sat in, and you're like, oh my goodness.
And they're home.
I remember your eyes. I remember your eyes are scorched into my brain and my brain. So I remember them.
Yeah, they don't know the look.
Right.
The look.
They need to learn the look. You're right. Because when I look at you,
I got the look and I passed it on.
Terrifying. Okay. The code switching where she's like, I told you, and then the phone rings. Hello, how can I help you? Whoa.
Or Precious, you ever have your mom, like you did something bad and your mom would talk about you to family members and you'd be like, girl, can you not? Like, keep it in the house.
No.
Well, that meant you wasn't supposed to do something because it was going to be told.
Yeah, right. You believe what she did? Let me tell you what she did. Girl.
Telling everybody story. Linda, Jackie, Grandma, Mom. I'm like,
she had the nerve.
Right?
Well, okay, let's have some fun. What's the most embarrassing thing that we've done that you all had to deal with as a child, like small child?
Okay, I do have a story, but then I always have a story.
I instantly regret asking that question.
Oh, goodness. Now, I was in the choir, and Precious would always say, she liked the Jesus robe. She called the choir robe the Jesus robe. However, one day after service, and the choir members were coming out of the choir stand, and, she ran down the aisle of the church. And there was this one, he was a tenor, had nothing to do with me. He was just a choir member. But she ran down the aisle and, very friendly. Everyone was friendly. And she runs that man and jumps in his arms and say, "Hi, Daddy." And his fiance was there.
His nickname was Big Daddy.
No, that wasn't Big Daddy. That was Tony Lovett or Tony something. I didn't have to put his name out there. But she ran to him and said, "Daddy," and I'm in shock. And his fiance is in shock. Tony, is there something he wanted to tell me? I said, "He is not her father. That is not her father." I don't know why she said that. It was extremely embarrassing. And she really didn't believe me, but that was really bad.
That wasn't as bad. I thought it would have been another story, but I'm glad
you
told
the story. When Presh loved Mickey Mouse.
Oh,
she brought that one up. Okay, I didn't mean to have two, but I told you I always have stories. At the age of 2, and everything was Mickey Mouse. She started Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse. But then it went to Mickey Mouse. And when they first opened the Disney store in Woodbridge Mall, and we're walking, my sister Debbie and myself were walking the mall, and I said, "Oh my goodness," when she sees that big Mickey in the window, oh my goodness. So this old elderly couple was ahead of us, and she went running, "Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse," and she went on her clothes, and they thought it was so cute. Oh, she's so excited. Mickey Mouse, Mickey Mouse. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. She loved Mickey Mouse.
Today she still does, huh?
Yes. Yeah, she's Disney World Queen. She's been there how many times? About 30 times. Thanks to Papa and Mima.
So a lot of times.
Yeah. She's
Yeah,
in the girl.
Miss Jabby.
I don't, girl, what you got on me?
Well, you know what?
You got more on Big, don't you?
Huh?
Don't be.
You got more embarrassing stories of Big.
It's about you, Kim.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you, girl.
Oh, what did you say? I'm sorry.
I said, do you have more embarrassing stories of me or more embarrassing stories of Big?
Oh, I have one of you. What?
Oh, girl.
Well, right, of course.
Let's just play keep then. You know what? Because you know how every mom kind of wants their daughter to dance. Well,
you tried it.
Every mom wants their kid to like dance, do ballet, or do tap or something, move it. But anyway, she was so excited about wanting to dance. We went to the store. I remember we went to Payless Shoe Store and got some tap shoes. Remember Payless Shoe Store? We got some tap shoes and everything. We got the tights. We got everything for her. I was really geeked about this. Took this girl to dance class, and dance class started, and she stood there like this. And I'm like, well, she was dressed to the nine, had everything on she needed to have on. She stood there with her arms crossed like this. I said, what the what? And I'm like, so you're not gonna dance? You know what I mean? The whole time she refused to dance. I always said, no. Wait a minute. So then after I'm standing in the doorway, come on. And the teacher's looking at me like, she won't dance. I'm like, come on. She wouldn't do anything. But afterwards, she comes out the door and goes, can I have a snack? No, there'll be no snacks.
I'm hungry.
There was no dancing, so there'll be no.
I'm not gonna dance, and you're gonna feed me.
Yeah, but she just stood there in the middle of the class like this and refused to do anything. Nobody did anything to her. I guess she just didn't want to dance.
Look at
whatever, girl.
You look just like that.
I got embarrassed. I didn't want to claim her.
I regret it now. I should have been dancing. I
can't.
Maybe I wouldn't be so chunky. But but also shout out to you guys who are commenting. Big says that he still fears you at 39 years old. And Lisa.
Like, has he ever been beat? I never beat that boy.
Yes, I never beat that boy. Did you?
Yeah. He got jacked one time, but I never beat him.
Define jacked.
We won't do that.
Okay. But you know what? That actually is my question. When it comes to parents who are, not really here for discipline, or a belt or a tap here and there. I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Because I know Mom, we never really got beat. It was more so like you said, the look or the lecture. I think I can call on one hand of when you actually did hit me, and I looked at you like, girl.
You were so hurt. You were so hurt.
My little chunky heart broke. I'm like, what? Ma'am. Can't believe this. Distraught, confusion, turmoil. But when it comes to things like that, how do you guys feel about it? Because there are just some parents who do not believe in, little tap tap.
Well, it's so hard. They can't today because it's like they took it away from the law, took it away from them. You know what I mean? So when you took away the fact that if you put your hands, touch your kid or discipline your kid, here comes the police, here comes social services, here comes everybody taking everything away. We didn't have to really deal with that. You know what I mean? So we kept everything in house. But it's like now a kid knows I'll pick up the phone. Don't you hit me? You know what I mean? So that's what I say again, making parenting a little tough. But I think you just have to start when they're young. And then I don't think you have to do all that beating and hitting. Just, you got to correct. When they're younger, they need to be corrected very, very young. Because somewhere, like I always used to say, somewhere that kid crossed that line and they weren't put back on the other side. So once they crossed that line, it was going. That's it.
Right.
I have to start.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Debbie.
Oh, go ahead. I'm done.
Some parents think, oh, they're cute. That's cute when they're small. But when they get older, it's not cute.
Right.
And then that's when they start to get in trouble in school and start to get in trouble around friends. And then it's out of control.
Right.
You have to address it when they're small. It wasn't cute when they were small. You just said it was cute.
Right. Exactly.
Can I just say one thing? I did something and I got in trouble. And I remember I ran from my mother and then I turned around and she was in front of me and I was like, how?
Girl!
How did you do that?
Superhuman.
Yes, it was like supernatural power. And I don't remember what happened after that, but I'm still here and alive and breathing.
Yeah. My mom was so swift with it. Like, I never really recall her feet hitting the ground. It was just like point A to point B. And you're like, wait, ma'am, how?
It's like Eddie Murphy used to say his mother would take the shoe off. It was like a boomerang.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And for being a mother, what would you say is your greatest fear? Or what do you fear most as a mother?
Do or did?
Do.
Do? Why can't it be did?
Or did.
Okay, my greatest fear was because of the type of guys, the young men, when Fresh was growing up, my biggest fear was who would she end up with? And when she met Troy, that was all gone.
Oh,
that's my son.
Yep. She said he the favorite. I was like,
he's the favorite.
I'm the reason you are here. What you mean
he's the favorite son-in-law. He's the only son-in-law, but he's the favorite son-in-law.
I think my biggest
I'm very happy.
Oh, he's a sweetheart. He is. I think my biggest fear was what I guess as a mother was again the results of what your kids are going to be like. You know what I mean? So it was almost like pressure to make sure that they're right so that when they go out in society, they'll be right. Because I just didn't want my kids to be a burden on anybody. I didn't want them to be like a burden, a headache, or or something to somebody else. You know what I mean? So I think that was my greatest fear. Am I doing the right thing? You know, am I doing the right thing if I do this? Because, and I know a lot of kids don't believe it, but when a parent says, when I punish you, it hurts me more than it hurts you. It really does. It really does. When you have to like really punish your kid, you know, you're being really tough, but then you turn around the other way and you're like, you know, you get that soft, like, oh, did I do the right thing? You know what I mean? So it's always a constant, did I do the right thing? Because I want you guys to turn out right. So that, I think that was my greatest fear, just making sure that I was doing the right thing.
So Debbie, like you said, how you punish them and, you know, you have to punish them. I thought I was punishing Precious, but it didn't turn out that way. I sent her to her room, no TV, no phone. And, you know, she was punished. She came out, she said, Ma, I read 3 books. They were so good.
That's how I got into Harry Potter. And as I was flipping the pages loudly and I was laughing like, ha, ha, ha. It's so fun. It's so fun.
But she loved reading. She did love reading, so.
Yes, Precious, you're so petty.
I get it from my mother. I do.
Yeah. Send them to their room was not a big punishment for them either. Like I said, you have to take it because they love their room. My kids used to love their rooms. And I guess I made it that way. I made it that they love their rooms, so that you love your rooms enough that you gave me some space. That's another thing kids need. Kids today need their own space. They're around adults too much. They sit around adults and they're taking adult conversations. And it's like, when we say go to your room, we meant go to your room. You know what I mean? So if you give them their environment in their room so that, you know, it's you know, like, especially when they're little, give them something to do in their room. You know what I mean? Besides just read tablets. But Kim, she loved books too. So a punishment for her was be like, you're not going to the library. Like, what?
Precious, don't think that hurts.
I guess we won't talk about the door thing, but anyway.
I got my door taken away because I didn't have a right to privacy. So, because I messed up, so she took my door away.
Yeah. That door thing was something else back then, wasn't it? Take the door away. They hated that.
My phone,
Came home from school, there was no door.
everything. Yeah.
That never happened to me. I never got my door taken away. No. Oh, girl, you took my TV away from me. We'd be having some problems. No, I can't watch Little Mermaid. I'm distraught. What's happening? And I guess this is going to be our last questions because we do have to wrap it up. But what do you think? What do you think some of the best qualities that we got from you, or what qualities do you think we got from you?
Well, Press, she's a people person. And I can say she got that from me. I'm a people person. I love to interact. I like meeting people. I don't have a problem being put in a situation. I can adjust to the diversity of who's there. And so I think she got a lot of that from me. Probably the music part too. She got it from both her dad and me.
Both of you.
Yeah, you're a combination, baby. That's why you got that perfect pitch.
You should have put me out there in the street.
Yeah. You know when people be flat, girl. You know.
I will look at you. I have looked at you, and we have both laughed sometimes. Yes.
That look like.
I think from Kimberly, I think just being a strong woman, I think she got from me, and being able to, like I said, putting a crunch, she'll come out on top. You know what I mean? She'll figure it out. You know, she'll figure it out somehow. But just the fact that she just don't fold that easy. So you put her in a crunch, she's gonna come out fighting.
You don't get the bad girl on that one.
Yeah, so I think that's what she got from me. The fact that just no matter what, you know, you have to fight. And she comes out, whatever the situation, she'll make it work.
Yeah. Make the best of it.
Say a lot for the people with the back up.
Proud of you, lady.
Oh, thank you, mommy. Yeah.
Well, we thank you guys. I mean, you guys are awesome. I can't say enough. Anybody who knows me knows that, you know, Mom, you are my chick. You know, I'm glad that not only were you able to be a mother, but a friend as well. And just to know that we have a good relationship, because it really does hurt when I see that people don't have good relationships with their mother. So I'm just really, really glad that, you know, you are here, you know, and you're my homie, and, you know, I can come to you about anything, especially, you know, when I'm having trouble with the boys and such. And even something stupid, like I will call, look, real quick, y'all. I'm that person that will call my mom about anything. I'd be like, UPS didn't, they didn't drop my package off today. I'm calling my mom. Or I didn't fill my taxes in right. I'm calling my mom. Like, my wig don't look right. I'm calling my mom. Like,
yeah. You heard about that package today, wasn't you?
Girl, if it don't come tomorrow, we're gonna have problems. But I'm sorry, Precious. You go ahead and go, girl.
The two of y'all. Yes. My mom I used to call us the Three Musketeers, me, my mom, and my sister. And my mom always made the best out of everything. Never knew anything was missing. She always made sure we were good. And when I started to have some health problems at like 13, I was diagnosed with a cyst condition. And she immediately like learned everything she needed to learn about it, found the doctors, made sure I was getting the care, even though I was missing so much school and I had to have so many surgeries. She was right there for every single one. She had her little note off pad, like, you're not coming to school today. Don't bother me. Bye. She would send it in. And she was my nurse to help me through all of it. And it was like the worst pain ever. But just knowing that she was always there to help me with it, that's my mom's my rock. So, and then Troy came too. And he kind of took on a little bit of that nursing.
He took on a lot.
Yeah,
He's already been through the sickness.
Yeah.
So yeah, but she's awesome. She's a trooper. She's a trooper. I have a high pain tolerance, but hers is stronger. Hers is stronger.
Oh, Kim, we got real quick for a birth story. I want to hear your birth story.
Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, girl, please don't make her talk about when she gave birth to me, girl.
Ah.
Here we go. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
How about you being
bored to this day?
I'm just saying, well, I have both my kids natural. And of course, Kim being stubborn, it took her a while to get going. But big girl came on out with them big shoulders at almost 9 pounds.
I still got my baby weight.
She was a 9-pounder. But yeah, it was cool though. I enjoyed pregnancy and having kids. I did. I did.
You wait till we get off of this live.
I said that you were,
because you like, I went through so much.
Oh Lord! Oh, wait,
And I gave birth, and you busted me open. Then you stop crying.
Well, it wasn't exactly you, but I mean, it was you happened to be in that pregnancy. But yeah, I did say I was going to remind you that because she was going to come early, and they had to give you those shots, and I think that's where her singing voice came from, because they gave me those shots when they think that you're going to have a premature baby. So you get those shots to develop their lungs real quick. So I had to get that. Meanwhile, she didn't come premature. She came late. And she was loud. And I think because of those shots, it developed her lungs. I told her, you know what? Those shots that I had to take with my arm burning, I was laying there like that. She's going to remember this. I'm going to tell her all about this. But I think really that had a lot to do because they had to develop your lungs real quick because they thought you were coming. And then you came late.
Mm-hmm. I'll come when I want to come.
Right.
Oh, what about you, Precious? Were you a difficult baby?
Not at all.
Oh.
Not at all. Labor wasn't hard at all. I went natural, not by choice, just because I didn't need it.
Oh, really?
And she was out in 3 pushes.
Yeah.
Shoulder, butt. That's it. No epidural, nothing.
No, we didn't take that stuff. Right, though. That's we just.
Yeah, but so when people say they were in labor for 10 hours, I
Oh,
relate to that.
well, yeah.
Not at all.
I work
Same
well.
for her sister. She came out in 2 pushes. Yeah.
Yeah, they were.
I
Yeah.
hope that's hereditary. I really do.
Hmm. Yes,
Don't you, Kim?
okay.
Don't you hope don't you hope that the ease of
Yeah,
the
because
birth
now,
is
yeah, we're wondering, like, when you guys gonna have any kids?
Huh? Wait, what happened?
Oh, look at the time. It's time for us to go. Thank you for being
And that is a wrap for this week's episode.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Yeah.
Yes, sounded great.
Yes, you guys were awesome. You did great. And I always ask this question, like I ask any guest that we have. When we need you, would you be willing to come back on the show?
Sure.
Sure.
Yay! All right, guys. We love you. Happy Mother's Day. Bye. All right, girl. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Walk down memory lane, you know. Yeah. And all the comments too. Thank you guys.
Shout out to y'all. Y'all do.
Shout out to our siblings and what they were saying in the comments as well.
Just being shady. You know, nobody asked you about me being loud, sir. We should do a siblings episode.
We should.
Yes.
Yeah. Are y'all down for that? Yeah. I know my older brother be like, no, but I'm sure look, Nicole immediately, definitely, yes. So.
Girl, well, look, I don't claim the other two, but my brother, yes. Yeah. But anyway, before we start telling family secrets and all that stuff like that, let's get up off here. You know, thank you guys again for joining us. Please make sure to follow us. Always follow us on In the Divas Den TV. Tell a friend, start a watch party, whatever. We are here for you guys. And to all of our mothers who are tuning in, happy Mother's Day to you guys. You guys are awesome. You make the world go round. And we don't know what we would do without you. So.
And to those who are without their mothers on this Mother's Day, we send our love and hugs to you as well.
Definitely. All right. Bye, guys. We'll see you next week.